No, it seems a bit stretching on the budgets. No, it could be spent other ways.
Very much. 3 minutes is up.
You might have to pay for the bathroom to go.
Hi,
I'm Kate Coy. I live at 1135 Colorado Boulevard, and I'm very concerned about the blight studies that are going on in town.
Yes.
A lot of the buildings that are being deemed under this blight study, they provide services to community members. One of the things we loved about this community when we moved here 15 years ago and we bought a house here, we hadn't lived here previously, but when we came up here, we loved that there were services in town for community members. I could take my dogs to the vet in town. I was very upset when I saw a notice in my veterinarian's window that their building may be blighted, and my vet knows my family.
For what reason?
They know the community. They have a lot of clients here in town, as well as other businesses that are in these buildings that are on this blight study. So it's one thing if a building is not housing services to the community, but if you want to bring in more housing and affordable housing to the community, you need services for those residents. You can't take all the services away and then try to bring all these people to become residents here. Thank you.
Thank you.
James Farrell?
Say again?
James Farrell?
Jimmy?
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the parking thing, and when I came in to get my permit, I was blatantly lied to. The lady said this would create more parking spots for the locals. At the time, there was a sign posted out in front of the Elks Lodge on Colorado there saying permit parking only. The very next day, that sign was gone. So what people do now is they seek these places where there isn't permit parking only signs and stuff like that, and they just leave their vehicle there all weekend. They'll walk to their hotel or they'll walk around, but they just retain that spot the entire weekend. And I'm trying to work, I'm trying to get out and do stuff, and that it's just, you gotta hunt for spots. It's just ridiculous trying to park in front of your own home in this town anymore. You just can't do it. I also don't like the idea of a private company having my information.
Yeah.
Without asking anyone, and we have to give them our information. Names, license plate numbers, that is just ridiculous. I didn't sign up for that at all. That's about it. I think everyone else kind of covered everything. So,
Big Brother's watching you.
Good job, Jimmy.
Well, we made it through our list. Thanking everybody for being here and your comments. This is not something that the council will take lightly. It will be more discussion, and we love to hear the public comment and how people are feeling about things that our council is doing.
And when can we see this online? We
I'm
have
sorry?
an updated meeting minutes since March 11th online.
It's being live streamed right now.
Right now?
Yep.
When's it going to be on? What's it on the web?
It's online right now. It'll be, the meeting minutes is on. We link everything up, but all the meeting minutes are online, and this is online right now.
We've been having trouble with the downloads. We need to be able to read those things.
Yeah, you can't read them.
The meeting minutes are all online. I was just looking at them.
Sorry, nothing's online.
I'll have to look at them is what I'm telling you, so.
Oh, is that what it is?
We will work on that first thing in the morning to make sure that everybody can do that. Okay, we're going to move on. Now we have some scheduled public comment. Is Michael Rosenbaum here? Okay. Jennifer Upright.
I'm going to give a different perspective since I live downtown. I'm Jennifer Bright, just in case some of you don't know me. I was born and raised here. I lived most of my life here, and 20 of those years I've lived downtown. The new parking system is not good for this town, residents, or businesses. I have seen the streets go from full and busy to empty. The downtown residents still have to fight for parking, and there are employees paying to work now. Residents are still stuck without parking when we come back from work or errands, and I had to park 2 blocks away this last weekend when I came back from Nebraska, and I had to make many trips back and forth to my car, 2 blocks. I've been told I need to make sacrifices and my needs are not important. Times need to change. This company or this city council and company don't know the heartbeat of the city and are making plans that are not working. I still can't get a straight answer on where I'm supposed to park. More discussions should have been done before any discussions on the system or decisions on the system. Talk to the public before you make decisions.
Yes.
People now can't go to church without paying, and now you can't just stop by a friend's house. How about rental cars for us downtown? I need to get one for my airbags to be done, but it can only be done in Denver. And I only need a car for about 12, 24 hours. So do I need to have to go through the whole process? And then do I need to get my car reprocessed? Listen to your voters. People sometimes they know more than you. They see more than you. Let the residents live their lives they choose, not the life you choose for them.
Yes.
I agree with that.
Amanda Kowalski.
I just had a quick question before we start. We submitted separate forms on separate issues. Do we only get one time slot because we live in the same house, or do we get 6 minutes?
Well, you can go separately.
We can go
You each
separately?
get 3 minutes, yes.
I don't know.
Oh, I see you now, Amanda.
Sorry, I think a lot of it's already been addressed, like everybody said. I think, obviously, on the parking issue, the biggest thing, I'm sorry, I'm Mike Kavaleski, I live at 1129.
Howdy, Mike.
At this point, I'd like to request that the council put forth a motion to do a moratorium on the parking situation right now, so that we can have further community meetings and try to address the issues.
I
That it just needs to be addressed. It's not ready.
It wasn't
Whether we
presented
want
to
it
the
or not,
public.
it's not ready. So that would be great. Zoning, everything else was there, but community is what this place really is. We are a great community. We need to continue to be that and thrive off of tourism. We've changed directions, and it's killing us. A good portion of this community, school teachers, everything that work and live around the Idaho Springs area, that's where they live, is Idaho Springs. But they live up 103 or Fall River. Those people can't come to this town without repercussions or parking situations or struggles. So that's always tough. And I think the town has spoken. There's a lot of upset people that aren't here. And I would like to strongly recommend that everyone sitting behind a desk in this room take a deep, long, hard thought about considering resignation, because the town is not happy.
Good job. We don't want peace on the county.
All right. Thanks again for everybody's comment. The council will. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Jerry Sander. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, I'm Jerry Sander. I've been in this town for 50 years. And this is just the craziest thing I think that has ever come out of this room. I was in Breckenridge over the weekend. I had a little look at their parking situation. They have thousands and thousands and thousands of parking spaces. It's a little bit different there. They need to maintain those lots. The locals, they're not happy there either. As it turned out, the condo I was staying in, the the people that were checking me out said, well, you know, just last night we went to the Buffalo Bar in Idaho Springs. We had a nice dinner. We came out and saw the parking signs. We were going to shop. As soon as we saw the parking signs, we said, we're leaving. They did not even stick around once they saw those signs. That is not the first encounter. I've encountered other people in town. Where do we park? Do we really have to pay? Yes, we'll go to Georgetown. It is us in the community that are dealing with those people every day. What about the local, maybe somebody from Empire wants to go into the sports shop and get a fishing license? Do they really have to pay to go park? What if somebody from Georgetown wants to stop and get a coffee? Do they really have to pay to park to go in and get a coffee? Yes. All of my customers, I'd say, are 15 minutes or less. That is just ridiculous to have to come in and pay to come in and make a few dollars worth of copies. You're not considering a lot of the local businesses. You have the bakery, the coffee shop, the deli, the cheese shop, the tea shop, the cheese shop, the tea shop, the bank, the tax place. You have all these people that only need 15 minutes for their customers. So one of my suggestions is that you either allow 15, maybe 30 minutes of free parking for Clear Creek County residents. Not just the locals, Idaho Springs, but the entire county.
Clear Creek County feeds Idaho Springs.
That's right. And
This is Idaho Springs, not Summit County.
we would not have been in business for 44 years without the local people. And now we're looking at closing our doors because of your decision.
Thank you everybody for your comments. This will not be taken lightly by council. We will be discussing this and more information out, and we'll be having some work sessions on this in the very near future. So thank you. Thank you.
So
everybody.
when is the next meeting?
I'm sorry?
When is the next meeting?
Next meeting? We have not discussed that yet. We thought about
Find that online.
I'm sorry?
You guys are all welcome to stay for the council meeting after this.
Yes.
Please do.
I'm sorry?
Need to go.
Okay, council will schedule a work session for next Monday night. Did everybody hear that? Next Monday night, we will have a work session about the parking plan. Okay? Thank you. Okay, we need to move on.
What time, Mike? What time?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock?
Monday, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock next Monday, work session on parking.
We need to work on it. Okay.
Mike, just one issue also to be addressed is this business of so why we have to find out.
I'm not going to discuss that tonight.
I know, but I need to hear that the candidates. I know, right? The ones that all of them.
Move on,
Which case are we talking about?
the two, probably the
A meeting is still going on. Can everyone be quiet? There are issues on.
Okay, go ahead, Alex.
Somebody, we need to get right here too.
Why we're continuing?
I'm gonna try to use
Yes.
Okay, so 2 o'clock meeting down in Idaho Springs.
In regard to the first,
Excuse me, we're trying to run a meeting.
This is a public meeting, all right? You're all welcome to stay, but I ask you to show a little respect. The room is clearing out. Those of you that are standing, I'm gonna ask you to sit down. Thank you.
in regard to the Argo, there is a requirement that, long story short, at the planning commission, there was a team of people that showed up that said they had some mineral interests to do some tunneling under several properties that are proposed for annexation. That issue is being worked out, and they're doing some title work. That title work was supposed to come to the city on May 15th in order to make it to tonight's hearing. They did not make that. There was a second deadline that was set for today, which was made. So the staff is recommending that this be continued to June 10th.
Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve continuance of second reading and public hearing to June 10, 2019 of ordinance number 8, series 2019, and ordinance rezoning approximately 471 acres from the Virginia Canyon Mountain Park, Mary Jane annexation numbers 1 and 2, and portions of the Argo property from commercial 1, C1, planned unit development PUD, open space, OS, and county zone mining 1, M1, and mining 2 and 2, or 2, a planned development PUD.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And discussion?
So, as part of this, Alan, on the June 10th, they're going to provide the study for the parking, the traffic study, and the geological impact safety study as well.
No. So this is only for rezoning. So it's basically the same as rezoning a property to commercial 1. The zoning allows the entitlements, but when they want to actually develop something, anything, they'll have to do a final development plan. And that final development plan is a specific design which would include traffic studies, parking studies, geologic studies. So this is merely just to say can these uses be built here.
Any more discussion?
So those are the 3 items that will be presented to us with the final development plan.
Correct. Whenever they want to build anything on that property, you will get a complete final development plan that will show everything specific to that design. One question I did want to ask the council is, this is sort of a moving target. There's a few things that are kind of being worked out dynamically as this goes forward, but it's a pretty complex and lengthy staff report with a lot of details. So I would like to send out a digital version to the council plenty of time ahead of time, which is basically it'll give you an overview and explain the project for the most part, although there's a few little things it could change in regard to some notes added to the ODP or to the plan development. I just want to make sure the council's okay that I could send you out the packet now. There could be some tiny little tweaks to it, and it's not the final staff report, but I think it would be very helpful to you because it would give you background on everything in plenty of time. Is that okay?
Any more discussion or questions for Alan? Any roll call?
Michael Hellman?
Yes.
Scott Pennell?
Yes.
Tracy Stokes?
Yes.
Bob Baldwin? John Curtis? Jason Siegel? Michael Buick?
Yes. All right, we'll move to our second continuance. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve continuance of second reading and public hearing to June 10th, 2019, and ordinance number 10, series 2019, and ordinance annexing to the city of Idaho Springs approximately 21.9 acres of land, including the Allen Harvest, Gleaner, Dorena, and No Name Loads, and the No Name Mill site in part of section 25T, 3S, R73W, 6 PM, unincorporated, Clear Creek, Colorado, to be known as the Mary Jane annexation numbers 1 and 2 to the city of Idaho Springs.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Any questions on that for Alan?
Exactly the same things for exactly the same reasons.
Okay, roll call.
Michael Hellman?
Yes.
Scott Pennell?
Yes.
Tracy Stokes?
Yes.
Bob Baldwin? John Curtis? Jason Siegel? Mike Buick?
All right. We will move down to our ordinance first readings. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve ordinance number 12, series 2019, and ordinance amending subsections 1-8C of the Idaho Springs Municipal Code concerning the maximum eligible penalties for code violations.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
So Chief, this is literally just changing from 1 year to 364 days. And that's just a state that we have to.
I think, yeah, that was of course not being written by us. I think that's the legal jargon that city legal, correct?
Any more discussion? Roll call?
Michael Hillman?
Yes.
Scott Pennell?
Yes.
Tracy Stokes?
Yes.
Bob Boland?
Yes.
John Curtis? Jason Siegel? Michael Buick?
Yes. And we'll move to ordinance first reading B. Do I have a motion?
Excuse me, I believe that Kate Collier brought up that it was improper to continue with that before the planning commission. And I believe it's a state statute that makes it illegal.
Alan, would you like to address that?
Yeah, so I think there's some misunderstanding going on. So what happens with any kind of rezoning at all is that there's required under state statute to be two readings. The first reading of the ordinance schedules it for the formal reading. That's all it does. It's just saying, here is the date that this ordinance is going to be heard. That's the only thing that's happening. The second reading is where the council makes a decision. Before that second reading can happen, planning commission has to hear that and make a recommendation. So I'm not sure where the misinformation has begun, but the only purpose of this reading tonight is to schedule it for June 10th, and the planning commission meeting is scheduled for June 5th. So no decisions will be made other than we're going to hear this on June 10th.
Alan, can you speak to when the public hearing will be on this?
The public hearing for the planning commission will be June 5th, before the formal hearing. The city council hearing on this will be June 10th. So again, this first reading is not this is not circumnavigating the planning commission. This is just scheduling the date of the formal hearing. That's it.
So I was a little bit confused about this myself because typically when we see these, it says staff recommends city council to approve, and then it says, planning commission has, either, it said go for it or not with their votes. This particular one says planning staff recommendation. Staff recommends the planning commission recommend approval to the city council of the proposed rezoning of the historic district. So this, by reading this tells me that this needs to go to the planning commission. So I think there's some confusion on whether it goes to planning first or it goes to city council first.
Yep.
I think the first and second reading is what's creating that confusion.
Now that you're telling me that is wrong. It should have said staff recommends that the city council schedule this for formal hearing on June 10th.
So this statement is probably why Kate Collier was
could possibly
confused.
be.
It's also probably why I was confused about this.
So no, this is merely to schedule this for. So if that's there, I missed that. My bad. It's supposed to go to second reading on June 10th. It'll go to the planning commission on June 5th.
Okay.
All right. You want to direct us on how we should reword that?
So the
Staff
ordinance.
recommends city council schedule this second reading for June 10th.
So are you referring to the whereas in the ordinance, or are you referring to the staff report?
As far as the actual motion to push this off to the planning commission.
So yes, to schedule this.
Worded a little bit.
I don't have the staff report with me. I was going to say, because the ordinance is what is going to be signed after the second reading, which there will have already been the planning commission, but the motion can change to approving the public hearing for June 5th in front of the planning commission and in front of the city council on June 10th.
So I guess I'm confused, and maybe it's possible that the wrong. Let me show you this. Councilperson Siegel, can you read that again?
It says. Staff recommends the planning commission recommend approval to the city council of the proposed rezoning of the historic district from commercial 1 to historic downtown.
So clearly.
So that was the planning commission. That's the planning commission staff report dated June 5th.
That's what it's supposed to say. So it's quite possible that I sent you the wrong.
Yes, it's a planning commission
staff report. If you look at the bottom there, that's what you were supposed to get. And that's the proper reading.
Okay.
So that could have been what was driving this misinformation.
So that doesn't mention the June 5th meeting with the planning commission.
No, you're just scheduling it for June 10th, but it's going to the planning commission on June 5th.
Okay.
You know what we need to do with that motion?
So, I
So
would,
we're-
to cover all your bases, I would say that, and then say that it's, referring it to the planning commission for the June 5th public hearing.
I'll move to introduce the ordinance approving the proposed rezoning of the historic district from Commercial 1 C1 to Historic Downtown HD, and schedule this matter for second reading on June 10th, 2019, after the planning commission has reviewed it on June 5th.
Do I have a second?
Reading is only driven by the page. So there was a community meeting that was held. Days where a mailing has to go out, where signs have to be posted.
I was just concerned about the speed of it. I just don't understand why we're in a
This, at the time that this rezoning came to the community meeting, there was 14 people here, and all of them said they were in favor of this. To the speed of it. But there is speed.
On the shelf.
I can do it in be more than 14. I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm just saying
a little time. Everybody's trying
This
to
has
catch
a-
up. So.
Will not be June 5th meeting
on the first Wednesday. So this timing.
Tuesday.
Sorry. Yeah. So it's going to city council on the fourth Monday, as it always does, and it's going to planning commission on the first Wednesday, as it always does.
Can you explain how it will be noticed for the second reading for those who don't know how the process goes?
Well, it's already been noticed. So
for the second hearing of city council.
So 280 letters were mailed out to everybody that owns property on the historic district, as well as everybody within 300 feet of the property. 280 letters. There were 2 signs that were hung on the main street. You can see those there now. There was a Facebook posting, there was a website posting, and it was published in the Clear Creek Current.
Tracy Stokes?
Yes.
Bob Boland?
Ordinance first reading.
Dash 11 and 7-2 of the Idaho Springs Municipal Code concerning the
Call.
Michael Hillman?
Yes.
Michael Buick?
All right. Now we'll move down to our second readings. Ordinance second reading number 9. Do I have a motion?
That's a public hearing?
Yes.
Yes.
This is a public hearing.
Good catch.
All right. We're going to move into a public hearing. This hearing will come to order. This is a public hearing before the City Council of the City of Idaho Springs on Ordinance number 9, Series 2019, an ordinance rezoning an approximately 2,460 square foot parcel owned by the city in the vicinity of 23rd Avenue and Virginia Street from Residential 2 R2 to Residential 3 R3. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to give public testimony, please sign up on the sign-in sheet. Sworn in by the city clerk, and then we'll have and we'll hear staff testimony.
About 2 months ago, all of these properties here on Virginia Residential 3, so why we approved this was because there are apartments that have been existing there since the 1970s. However, the zoning there is rebuild, they couldn't expand because technically those apartments aren't allowed in that zone district. So the city, after talking to the property owner who may or may not to be rezoned to R3, City Council approved. There is a piece of should have been. What you're doing today is just rezoning this lot to R3 to match all.
Be us.
No.
What's the difference between R2 and R3?
You can-
Just a note from memory, that parcel was given to the city as part of the development, and was supposed to be used for parking.
This is pretty much just an oversight. How do we prevent these kind of oversights from happening in the future?
Try not to miss it. That was my fault.
Thanks for admitting to it at least.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Move to, go ahead, Scott.
I'll move to approve ordinance number 9, series 2019 ordinance rezoning an approximately 2,460 square feet parcel owned by the city in the vicinity of 23rd Avenue and Virginia Street from residential 2 to residential 3.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion, council? Final chance. Roll call.
Michael Hillman.
Yes.
Scott Pennell.
Yes. Right. We will move down. We don't have Sandy here tonight. Administrator is out. And city clerk?
Mayor and council, you have my staff report before you with one request for action. This is a reappointment of Ben Moore to the variance board.
Okay. All right, do I have a motion?
Move to approve reappointment of Ben Moore to variance board of adjustments for a 4-year term.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Has he provided satisfactory service at this point?
He's been a member for 4 years. He'd like to be reappointed, so yes.
All right.
Any more discussion? Roll call.
Michael Hillman.
Yes.
Scott Pennell.
Yes.
Tracy Stokes.
Yes.
Bob Boland.
Yes.
John Curtis. Jason Siegel.
Yes.
Michael Buick.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Chief, police department.
Mayor and council, I will refer you to my report. I would like to make a public follow-up on the after action report for the borough. I think that allowing the borough race to come down to Center Alley and close down in the park was really an excellent decision by council. The interaction with the public, people that normally wouldn't go up to the Elks Club, was very good. I did have concerns about economic impact, so this morning I personally spent 2 hours walking the street and going to every open business was up this weekend, to the point where one of the proprietors wished he had more people. So I don't know if it was just that people from out. I do believe in that. For those of you who didn't know, the city council responded to the demands of parking because of all the tourists. And that was one of the reasons why that it had impacts that it deserved. And I'm going to speak to you now as a citizen. I think some of you were incredibly unfair to this council. I can deliver the newspaper to you. I cannot make you read it. There's nothing that was said here that was not publicly published and accessible to you to come to these other meetings. Now, every bad ordinance can be repealed.
I'm going to speak, bro.
Every press, the public, to be repealed. As a matter of police service, I'd like to respond to your comments, sir. My police officers deserve the best equipment that's available to them. Now, you're seeing cars that you believe are new, but we have several cars that are not new. They've just had their the wrap removed from them because it was failing. I drive a 2005 Crown Victoria that was built in 2004. The code enforcement officer was driving a 2001. I know his job description, but he's also the local dog catcher. Not impacted by the parking unless they have a late service. So, you know, I gotta be honest with you, as a chief of police, I'm really disappointed in my community. Because everything you needed to know was at your fingertips.
The issue is, not, anybody else, I'll
Thank you,
prove this
Chief.
issue, you go,
Excuse me.
response.
Mayor and council, I refer to my staff report.
And Dan's not here. Location and moving and doing this is going to be something.
Dan informed me this afternoon, I know we've had some 85 feet west, and it'll be a little bit skewed. The issue was solid rock until 23 feet, which is at the water table. So instead of spending another 100.
All right, thanks for that update, Dan. All right. Any committee? Anything under mayor and council?
I would like to make a comment.
Sure.
I want to personally thank everybody that came here tonight. When I first started on council 4.5 years ago, prior to that, I was literally the only audience member that ever came here. I haven't been here that long, not nearly as long as most of you. But since I've been on council, it's been quite a struggle to promote public engagement at these meetings. Obviously, there's been a vein hit with the community on this parking situation. I appreciate everybody's comments, regardless of whether they're ill-informed or you just didn't know where to get the information. Some of these comments were, you know, there could have been answers that have a positive effect in helping people understand. Obviously, we can't answer questions during a council meeting unless they've already been approved as part of the agenda. But just as a citizen, I'm really excited to see the kind of engagement that happened in this room tonight. This is, and parking was the main issue that was a problem for 20 years from other people that have been here for long on Minor Street can attest to. It's not an easy horizontal space to work with in this town. Something had to be done. Nothing is ever perfect. We need that feedback from the community in order to help us understand whether or not we've made the right decision or not. Nobody to succeed. We want everybody to be happy. I hope that this even though it is out there, I know not everybody has a cell phone, a smartphone, or a laptop, but when I was a member of the Chamber of Commerce and the president, that was such a diverse crowd. We can't solve every problem, but we can at least try to solve these problems. Tonight, I have not seen this many people in this room in all of the last. This is exactly what I've been hoping for this entire time. This is my last year on council, but I'm glad I'm walking away with having this experience, because this has been the most touching experience for me being a public elected official. I really appreciate you guys. Regardless of the frustrations, I understand everybody's frustrated, but don't let anything stop you from being engaged in these meetings, because it's very important for you, your family, and for those around you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please extend my appreciation to them. I really appreciate the fact that you guys have been here and you guys are coming here to give us your opinion. This is exactly what we need in order to make informed.
As the election official for the city of Idaho Springs, if you...
And what I would like to say to everybody is, whether you realize it or not, this council is $1 million worth of infrastructure improvements in this community with very little to zero ask of the That's what this was. We move forward with things, and we'll discuss more about the parking next week. $10 million parking structure, and council said, wait a minute, do we really need here? And only 150 of them were taken up. We met with the downtown business owners, and they said, what kind of months during our busiest time? And somebody mentioned about off-season not having it. I'm with them. I don't think everybody calm. I just want you to know that this council works very hard to make everybody's life in this community better. So,
speaking with the contractor, several times we've had people 3 to 5 days to try to get any kind of reply confirmation for visiting guests as the fees are going to start.
Yes, sir.
We're not getting adequate replies.
okay.
I will follow up with you tomorrow morning.
And Mike, we're learning on this too. This is new to us. None of us had any experience with moving forward with this. So we're on a learning curve, and as I've said, it's an adaptive management. When we get ideas and we hear comments, we say, oh, people were taking notes. That's a good idea. We didn't think.
In the presentation from the contractor.
All right. Yes. Yes, sir.
Paul? Go ahead.
Okay. I know there was some opposition to closing down Colorado Boulevard, but I think for the sake of the community, it was a good decision, and Chief out there, we got good time, and good. So the other thing is I live on 12, on the corner of 12th and Colorado, and I know that on Colorado Boulevard you have the sign coming up saying this is residential parking only. Now on 12, coming down toward the rec center, I do not park on 12. They don't see these signs. What is
I would have to.
Yeah, there should be 3-hour parking there. I don't know.
Okay,
I'll touch base with you.
We'll talk about this.
I personally don't care, but
And for whatever it's worth, I'm one of the guys that waves at the police officers and the firefighters, and one point I wanted to bring up about, though, if I could please, is that we're patronizing at those stores. Do I know the number? Springs. I agreed with a lot of what was said tonight. I verbalize my little grunts every once in a while because I agree. But I think I turn that now to Jason, and thank you for what you had to say, Jason, because the importance level is that y'all up there that represent us, that you hear it. Have us in our best interest. Couldn't be here tonight. I'm representing 50-some people all by myself tonight. They couldn't be here.
Thank you, Lee. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Jason.
Okay. All right. Yes, sir.
I want to get back to the point that your website is not informative. There's no detailed information how this stuff is being financed, because department or government, local or whatever. And I'm not the only person that's had this problem.
We will check into our website and
because
I did just keyword search as well, so you can search to a specific section of a meeting that way as well. So you
we actually
and that will continue.
all right, meeting adjourned. I hate to run everybody out, but we do have an executive session now. So everybody has to leave.